I'm mostly warm whenever.
Yeah?
So,
All right, let's rock and roll. Tee height-wise, what do you tend to go with?
I've been teeing it down a bit, which has been useful, so that's probably going to be
Let me just pop
mostly
one on
okay.
there and you let me know.
That feels a little bit high.
Down.
Yeah, that's probably.
Yeah?
Try that for, yeah. Perfect.
Let me just get rid of those shots there, and then we're going to be
Very
going
nice.
straight down the line as you've been doing, please,
Okay.
Jason. Get rid of these. Into there, drive. What we'll do is let's hit 5 or 6 shots.
Yep.
I'll be sort of led by you in terms of, you know, you tell me if they're fairly reflective of what you've seen on the golf course, and then we'll go from there.
I mean, that looks about right.
Yeah, that's that left one you're talking about, right?
Yeah, that's probably about right. I'm sort of 103 to 105 when I'm indoors.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably about right. So we can go a bit straighter. That's a bit better. Yeah, I spent a lot of time in the left part of the fairway. The left part of the course.
What about contact on the face, typically?
Some those, and typically where I see it, you know, when you put the thing up, but also where I feel it is high on the face, which is why I've started teeing it down, and definitely more on the toe than on the heel.
More on the toe than the heel,
Yeah. Which is when I get, that's what it, certainly it feels like, and if I pull up the little box thing, that's where
it tends to be.
Shows that it tends to be high.
Yeah.
So to fix that, I just start teeing it down. It seems to be a bit more center.
Do you want me to tee that down a little bit for you? Or are you happy
I think
with
it's
that?
okay right here.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just gonna have a little bit. Is it just twist? Try one more.
Better one?
Yeah. All right.
All right, yeah, let's have a little look. Is it TrackMan in where you do your practice as well? It is, isn't it? Yeah. So you'll be familiar with these numbers here, effectively.
Yeah.
Let me just...
I mean, with the driver, I just tend to look at how fast I'm hitting it. That one.
You're just looking for the club head speed.
Obviously, there's more to it than that.
Throw that into there. Okay, so we've got average club head speed there, just a smidge under 104, 103.9, so bang on pretty much what you say you normally see. Then in relation to that, we've got ball speed there at 145. So that's down a little bit on, obviously, where we want it to be classed as optimal, right?
Yeah.
You know, based on 100 mile an hour club head speed, maximal ball speed, all things being equal, 150.
Yep.
Which derives from, obviously, we know COR is regulated, the trampoline effect on the head, right?
Yep.
So maximal smash would be a 150. So could be a little bit, contact being a little bit high on the face, which can lose a little bit of energy, but then also maybe just transfer of energy through shaft. We're just losing a little bit of efficiency there as well, but definitely something to tap into there, because even the slightly better strikes have been just missing a little bit of a trick there, I would say.
Yeah, and I'd say when I'm indoors, like, I'll hit maybe 150, low 150s.
Yeah.
On a good shot. But no more than that. But that probably translates to my
to what you're seeing
speed.
there, And in terms of flight, I don't mind that launch angle there at 13.7. That one there just came up a little bit, high off the face. But in relation, that launch compared with that spin number there is, in fact, most of those were actually, a lot of those were calculated. Let me just see what ball you were using there.
That was the Pro V1, I think.
Might just get you to hit one more for me if that's all right, just because that is generally when it comes out there with that italic, it means it's a slightly calculated spin. So I mean, that last one was a true spin, but I just want to see you put one together for me if that's all right again there.
That was a bit up.
Let's go one more, please, Jason. Take him out. Just popped up a little bit. Yeah, definitely still lower on the spin side of things. Okay. So, I'll have a little look at the original 6 again. So yeah, the combination of launch and spin's very low.
Yeah.
You know, I would never typically fit anybody to that lower spin. I would say sort of modern day standards, the lowest I really want to go is 2000, but like 2.2s to 2.5s normally in the right window.
What does that impact then on the, is it impact distance or
this here?
Curve?
Yeah, well, both. To be completely honest with you, it's going to come out the air quicker than anticipated, especially if you're somebody who plays a right to left shape. It's going to duck out left quite early on, but generally with that sort of spin there, you're going to lose carry distance unless you've got that combination of launch to kind of counter it. As a rule, the more ball speed you've got, the less spin you can sort of afford, so to speak. So, you know, if you're talking about the big boys like Rory, et cetera, when you're pumping sort of 180, 190 mile an hour ball speed through it, you can afford to have a little less spin. Now, naturally, because you're pumping a bit more velocity through it, that naturally comes with a bit more spin anyway, if that makes sense. So those guys are always trying to kill spin. So there's always a lot of talk about lower spin balls, lower spin shafts, etc. on tour. But to be honest, they're in a completely different stratosphere of numbers. You know, for the modern, for the modern amateur, I would say sort of 2.5 to 2.2 is quite a nice window, and then anywhere depending on what window you want to see it through. 12, 13 degrees worth of launch is in quite a nice spot. So I noticed on your driver it's a 10.5 degree head, but then you've got it lofted down to the lower setting and lower. So that'll do two things. Obviously, it takes loft off, but it also does open the face up. Was that done to counter the left, was it?
A little bit.
And too high a flight?
Yeah, I was getting them high, and it was summer and windy, and I was just like, oh, I'll just take it down a bit to just get it lower and on the ground a bit quicker.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I mean, it's certainly doing the job in terms of it's lowered the spin down, but for me that combination it's just too low, and I'll show you exactly where you want to get the numbers to. There's a tool on here called the optimizer, which you may or may have not used, and that'll pretty much tell us exactly where we need to get things to, but certainly that carry number is low for 104 club head speed. In terms of angle of attack, and this is how you're delivering the club to the ball, you're doing a nice job, you're hitting up on the ball, which is preferable. Club path, very neutral. And then where you're running into issues at the moment is in relation to a very neutral path, face is getting a bit closed down. So that looks like this is the number here which you've got to try and control for you. I like this here. If I could get you maybe averaging 1 to 2 degrees in to out, that'd be a nice area. Slightly closed and we start getting that very slight draw, which would be, I take it you do want to see it move a little bit from right to left, do you? Or?
I mean, it feels like that's what it's going to do. So I don't want to.
Just want to try and control it.
I mean, if I spent the winter trying to hit a little fade, then maybe it's something different, but that's where my shot is. So.
Okay, this number here is something that I use a lot nowadays, and this is our dynamic loft. So this is how much loft you're presenting to the ball at impact. So you've got 10.5 lofted down, you've probably got around 9 degrees there, and a little bit more measured loft, so it'd be, bring that back up again, let's say it's actually a measured loft of about 10.5. What I like to see here, in the magic number I tend to see here is about 15. Now I know it's 14.8, but that's with a combination of that one
sort of pushed up.
If I take them out, it's at 13.7. So that's telling me that I probably could bring the I could bring the loft on the golf club back up again, which may help us. It's definitely going to give us a bit of a better combination of launch and spin. And then peak height there, average 73, but again that one there just sort of skews the numbers a little bit. There at 67, it's just a little bit on the low side again, I'd say, Jason.
So my target is 250 in straight carry. So if you just leave with one of those, like that'd be perfect.
All right, cool.
And then I can just play basically as much as I want.
Perfect, all right. Let's have a little look at dispersion. There we go. As you mentioned, you're seeing a bit of the left-hand side of the fairway currently, and that's sort of tied in with what we've got here. That was total. Same for carry, so they're sort of hitting in and around left-hand side of the fairway, and they're continuing to go, which is where that spin comes in a little bit as well. Impact on the face.
They're all high, aren't they?
A little bit high for my liking. That will lose energy, and it will very much lower spin because you're hitting it quite substantially above the centre of gravity of the club. So we'll keep an eye on that, but we're averaging at the moment a little bit into the heel and 18 mils high. I want it to be just high. That crosshair there is actually ideal, Jason. And then I mentioned the optimizer tool, so let me just show you that. And again, if I run a few shots through here, so you can see here actually launch of 12 to 13 is nice, but we need a bit more spin on the ball, and therefore we bring that peak height closer to about 90 feet. We've got an extra 20 yards to tap into there.
There you go.
And we've got some extra yardage in terms of total as well. And that pretty much ties in all the way through. That was actually a little bit longer. But again, you can see here the spin's really the thing that's missing, and also the ball speed as well.
Yeah. One thing with this club that I found, and I didn't realize it until I bought it, is it longer?
It is, well,
It's 46 and...
it's 45.5
45
inches, which is actually a modern day standard if you were to buy off the shelf from TaylorMade, Callaway. But we tend to, you know, the shaft that we sort of fit here, or what we'll pick off the rack for you today, tend to be about 45 inches.
I mean, I've gotten used to it. It took a while, and it felt just that little bit extra. Start getting loose with the swing and everything else. I've tried to dial it back, but I would prefer to just go that slightly bit shorter.
Shorter again.
As long as it doesn't mess everything else up.
Well, it doesn't really. The interesting thing is, I mean, that sort of half an inch, you know, from a robot testing perspective, where they're testing at high speeds and they're trying to max it out and get that 1% right, so it's their longest ever driver, probably makes a difference. But then when you bring in the human element of that half an inch,
more on the face and that kind of thing.
Exactly, it just moves things around. So it doesn't actually, generally, when we drop half an inch worth of shaft length, it makes no difference to the club head speed. In fact, in some instances, I've actually seen people go up here because confidence raises, start freewheeling through it. So the main thing I'm looking to do here is concentrate, strike on the face. For me, looking at the actual club and the way it swings, a little bit light down the bottom end, I'd like to change the balance of it. Don't think the base weight's a million miles away. I think probably 62 to 65 isn't going to be a million miles away for kind of 104, but the balance looks very sort of mid to high for you. And based on, it's a D5 swing weight, but that's based on 45.5 inches. I'd actually like to try and get to about D4, but 45 inches. So give you more balance, but in a shorter package. I think that'll give you a bit more down the bottom end to use. Hopefully it doesn't get you flipping it. I might also try heads where I can go a little bit flatter with the line as well, just to try and eliminate that left, basically. But happy with that? You kind of open to brand?
Open to brand, definitely.
All right, perfect. Okie, gonna throw a ping on here to start with. So despite you being lower spin, right, I'm gonna put you into a lower spin model head, but I am going back up in loft again. So this is 10.5 and it will play at 10.5. So this is the G430 LST. The other reason I'm going into this head is it does sit a little bit flatter. And also in the finished product, it gives me the ability to go into a flatter hosel setting through the ping hosel as well, which is quite nice. For you, could be perfect. So we'll see. Then I've changed the balance of shaft. I've gone into the Mitsubishi Diamana TB. Great for adding a little bit of initial launch. It's still sort of a mid-low spin shaft, but actually just adds a little bit of loft generally. 45 inches, and then I'm just going to try and get it exactly to the swing weight I want. It's a little bit light there. How's Fox Hill's been playing?
It's all right. It does. It definitely does better in the summer. In the winter, it gets wet. And it just, I guess it's on a different. It's built on something different than some of the others around the area. So I've noticed. I've gone out to the Berkshire. Like in the sort of February time last 2 years, and you go out there and it's like still in pretty good condition. You could really play. Fox Hills just gets really, really wet, which is fine. I mean, there's 2 courses. There's like a lot of positives about it, but that's a big negative.
Yeah, sure. In terms of spin in the rest of your bag, in terms of your irons and everything else, are you happy with where the spin is?
I couldn't tell you that specifically. What Ollie and I talk about is I tend to hit a high ball with probably less spin, as opposed to sort of a lower dynamic lie with more spin. So like my 7-iron, so that's what he's told me anyway. So we spend some time working on sort of getting, the attack angle down.
So you're on the shallower side of things.
Shallower side of attack angle.
I'm just wondering whether we could I would be interested to throw the Pro V1X in.
Great.
I know that seems like a relatively small change. And then I'm just going to bring this T down just a fraction as well. I probably want it just half the actual logo there, probably just below the level. Just do it a bit further again. Yeah, quite like that. Slightly shallower head on the ping than the TaylorMade. That should be good to go.
It does feel slightly open at address. But Well, it felt better.
Yeah. So I would say
what are we going to do for the next 45 minutes?
Sorry?
What are we going to do for the next 45 minutes?
I would say embrace the face being that little bit open.
Yeah.
So the LS Tech, it tends to sit a little bit open. It looks like it sits a little bit open. It's relatively square to open. The other thing is because the club is a little bit shorter, generally as you take length off a club, you make it play a little bit flatter.
Yeah.
So it will sit a bit flatter as well, comparatively. A little bit low contact.
That was low, but
yeah,
felt all right.
Yeah. I mean, you'd take it.
I would. I mean,
one of those ones where you don't say anything, you just walk off the tee box quietly. And
take most anything in the fairway.
Put the driver back in the bag and walk down the fairway. Not bad.
Yeah, so that felt slightly messy, but still went pretty well. I mean, those are fairly consistent, right?
Yeah, I would take them. I think the tee height's a little bit better now. The contact's in and around that sort of line there. Quite like that.
What's the
second one was slightly heel side, which kept it neutral, kept it straight. Second one was bang on where I want it to be.
What's the X do versus the not on the ball?
Just spin rate.
More spin.
Yeah.
Oh, I did see
something. Margin in terms of the launch. So
that last swing, I saw something fly this way.
Yeah, I might have. There we go. Yeah, just actually combination of launch and spin, but just for you, I just kind of like the idea of it. So, to be honest, you're not going to lose any performance.
Yeah, there's
in towards the green on it.
Which box I pick up?
Slightly firmer. I mean, but I'd say that might be something to play if you're a tour player and you like a particular feel. But I'm sure for you could adapt to that. So
I'm sure I'll be fine. Got the ping 5 wood, which is quite good.
Very stable.
Yeah.
Very stable. I've been very impressed with the 430 this year. I mean, don't get me wrong, nobody makes a bad wood in the market.
It's just preference, right?
But I have to say, these have really ticked a lot of boxes for us this year.
Cool.
Very stable. The LS Tech still low spin, still quick.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, that's telling me I might be able to go into the Max head, which is more forgiving, but also offers a little bit more spin than this LS Tech. The reason I went into the LS Tech is because of the face angle.
Sure.
It sits a little bit flatter. And as you can see,
it is nice to look at down. I mean, that's what I was trying to do, messing with this, is to get that slightly more open feel, which obviously is tricky, but just.
Well, it's because of the thing, you've got the length working against you there a little bit as well. What has been interesting straight away is the ball speed is up.
Yeah.
Even if I just looked at all those series of shots there,
because they're not swinging it any faster.
You've gone from 147 to 153
with no additional club head speed.
Correct. So you're just a bit more efficient for you, and I think a little bit of that comes from shaft, and a little bit of that comes from just being able to find the middle of the club a little bit more with a shorter length. Could you give me one where you try and hit a push?
Yeah.
Good job. What was the number you told me?
250 and straight.
Oh.
Oh, man, we're done. All right, give me a couple hours just so I can come back to this one.
So if I pop that into the little tool there, the optimizer.
Yeah.
I mean, what's really fun for you now is because you moved that a bit quicker as well. It's now actually asking for a little bit more in terms of the optimal here and
let's
here.
not get greedy. That's how my swing gets long.
But you can see the launch and the spinner in a nice spot. I like the idea of that push sensation in that setup for you.
Yeah.
I think with the TaylorMade, I can understand how that would cause a left and right dispersion. But I think with this setup, actually, it will hold a little bit more loft on it. If you remember, I actually said about 15, so we're still a little bit down on where I'd like to be, but that's now working a bit more alongside you. The only thing, I mean, if you hit them all like that, that's going to be a really nice setup for you. The only thing I'd probably potentially change is maybe moving into the Max head. Shaft-wise, pretty good. We've definitely got some other options that we can try, but that moves really nicely for you straight away. So a little bit more tip balanced. Weight-wise, not too dissimilar to what you've got here, but just balance is different. I don't know if that's what you're picking up on as well as you're moving it.
I mean, it feels great.
Yeah, that's in quite a nice spot. I'll let you hit a couple more. I'm just going to pick some other product off the shelf, but I like that sensation of feeling like
good.
You push it a bit. Nice.
Keep losing the weight.
Oh, the lead tape.
Yeah. Oh, that was a good one. 260. Oh, gotta change my expectations. That was not less good.
Yeah. I just want to get to a stage. But I tell you what,
That's the only one
furthest left you've hit so far.
Yeah.
The rest of them will play. This is a really nice group in here. That was the last one I take it, which is lovely. Did a really nice job there, just holding that face off.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's a good club.
291.
Quite like it. Yeah.
So that's nice as a opening gambit, and we can now try and beat that. But we've hit sort of a decent setup for you straight away. So now we know anything else than that, and we're perfect.
Awesome.
So that's in quite a nice spot. Again, obviously you can still hit it left.
Yeah.
But I mean, all these will absolutely play. And then when you really get hold of one like that, I mean, I can't really give you any more ball speed than that at 104. We're near enough maxed out. So again, if I put that into my optimizer tool, again, maybe a fraction more loft on there, but actually impact was marginally low actually. Optimal there would be 13 and that spin, and I literally, but that's actually, you can see there you've actually exceeded the expectations of the optimizer, so quite nice. I'd be interested just to start with just that shaft into the max head, just to see. I say just occasionally it's still a little bit on the low side, but I would be led by you a little bit in terms of what you visually want to see, because you might not want to see it too high.
Yeah, I don't need it super high. No. I mean, yes, it's nice in the winter, but again, if I'm getting that carry, I can play, which is my main thing. And if it's low, I can go to Scotland more often and play in the wind, right?
Absolutely. Although I wouldn't want to be up there this weekend playing in the wind, that's for sure. That storm and the...
What was it, the Dunhill Links a couple of weeks ago that they cancelled a couple of the days, right? It was so windy on the old course.
It's just a different type of golf, that.
Yeah.
There's the type of golf we play, Parkland golf, and then you go up there and it's just, Absolutely. Where are we at? D3. So this is the max head, same again, 10.5, so again, slightly deeper centre of gravity. With that comes a little bit more forgiveness, but typically maybe a fraction more spin comparatively. So also this is there's multi-material in this particular head. They've got carbon fibre in here, this is just titanium. Same shaft, Diamana TB, look nice, manageable, good weight for you. High quality Mitsubishi. Thing I love about the Mitsubishi shafts is they make every part of their shaft, so the resin, everything is designed and built by Mitsubishi, which helps in control the tolerance levels. Okay, max, there we go, see what you think. Slightly different footprint to it. It won't sit quite as open. Still sits pretty square though.
Yeah, it's definitely not closed though. You good?
Good to go.
It's not bad.
See, that's nice.
Yeah.
Because there's just that little bit more spin there, and spin is a stabilizer, so it's going to just keep it in the air that little bit longer. That was really nice there, Jason.
That was all right. That one felt way off to the right.
So the other thing I've found with this particular head this year is off the toe, super stable.
Yeah.
So you made the
Yeah,
four
I
right
thought that
sign
was gonna
there,
go.
and it sort of brought it back, which is testament to the head.
It's a tricky one, right? Because I almost slightly preferred that one. Something about it, but obviously this one's quite straight. So. Oh, that was a bad
Slight
swing.
pull. Fine. I think the interesting thing is, for me, is just how more efficient the ball speed is with the shaft as well. You're really getting the most out of it. I think that's really testament of what you get from a stock option in a manufacturer.
Yeah.
You know, watered down version, and I'm
yeah.
sure even the manufacturers wouldn't mind me saying that, to what is effectively premium materials, right? Oh, that swing's good. Tell you what, I really like the way that swings. Yeah. You've healed it, it's carried a little bit more spin, but it's in play. I mean, we're peppering that 250 carry now.
I got options. This is a problem.
Well, that's your more forgiving option.
But when you say more forgiving, just it accommodates mishits like the one off the toe and stuff a bit better.
Correct.
Is that what you're saying by more
Absolutely,
forgiving?
yeah.
But then what am I giving up with not getting more forgiving? Like, what does that offer then?
It's the LST is a genuine lower spin version, and visually the way it sits a little bit more open, which is something that typically better players desire.
Yeah.
Because of the way that the shot shape that they're looking to play, or take the left miss out of play. So the reason I went into the LS Tech originally was because you had a left bias, so I was trying to give you a head which naturally sort of neutralises that a little bit, as well as shaft. But I think the shaft is the main win here.
The shaft is making a bit difference.
But going into the Max head, it sits a bit more square. Now, both are played on tour. You know, Tony Finau, for example, plays the Max version. So
that spins quite up from where we were.
That's the heel,
the
so that is up. But if I look at the other one, so that was your first one that you hit with it.
Yeah.
That was the next one, which was toe.
Yeah.
Which actually, that's a great spin number for toe.
Yeah.
My only concern would be of a similar strike with the LS Tech, that would probably be sub 2000.
Right.
Therefore, it does start to come out the air a little bit quicker.
Sure.
So the advantages is genuinely lower spin with the LS Tech, so potentially more distance in terms of total.
Yeah.
More forgiveness across the face.
Right.
With the Max head.
Let's swing one more. Ball.
Very nice. And then you middle it, and then that's that combination I said at the start of the session, 13, 2, 2, 2, 3, and that's maxed out.
Cool.
That's really good. Which at the middle, you're going to get to be honest, you're going to get the same performance out of that as that, to be completely honest with you. I got a little bit more of a safety net in it, so to speak. I'm going to take two of these shafts away because I just don't think we need those two. I've got one here which I would like to try with you.
Okay.
Slightly different price point.
Yep.
Just to make you aware, but the difference with this is it's a bit lighter in terms of the actual base weight of it. So it's 58 grams.
Yep.
TPT, what they do is effectively they're trying to their USP is slightly lighter shafts, softer shafts technically, but very high quality graphite in here. So stability is still retained because of that. So if I can give you a unit which is potentially lighter, whilst maintaining stability, potentially we can up our club head speed, which their ball speed will follow. But at 103, 104, that's pretty much
we'll get.
I'll put it into the Max head, I think. I can't really see a downside to that Max head for you, to be completely honest with you. Now that I've seen it swing on this shaft at this length, I know that the left isn't really a problem with this head either.
It doesn't feel like it.
I say the reason I went into that was because it genuinely sits flatter in lie angle. So I like what we're doing so far, though.
Yeah, no, it's good. What's the order time on this kind of thing nowadays?
We're working off about 4 to 6 weeks lead time at the moment. Single clubs can be a little bit quicker. Because once we get them in, we do have a single build queue, which sometimes
my
moves
last
a little bit
session
quicker.
was that lovely post-COVID supply chain, like 4 to 6 months, not 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh God, yeah, wow. I remember that. I mean, we are
stuff for everyone. I mean, you guys were upfront about how long it was.
We were just the middleman, unfortunately.
It's just everybody
caught in the crossfire, so to speak. I was actually working for one of the manufacturers at that point, so I was getting it in the neck from my customers on a fairly regular basis. So. Okay. Low. Okay, this is a bit of an experiment, to be completely honest with you. But I think we can afford to do this because we know the first setup's so good. So. Not bad, not bad. Sorry? Power.
That was a bit high. Off the face. Goes very straight. I mean, I wouldn't say I noticed that much difference. Can't remember what you said I should look out. Is this one heavier or lighter?
It's lighter. Base weight of it's lighter, but it's interesting. I mean, I'll see one more with it, but I preferred the way the other one swung for you, to be completely honest with you. This looks a little bit early.
Yeah.
So that it's interesting. You couldn't help but find the middle of the club with the other one. This one, 2 different strikes.
It's not
quite as consistent.
It's psychological. It's not quite.
Not quite as consistent.
That one felt more natural, of like what I would expect with my swing. This one feels like I'm working almost against it slightly. Maybe I've just gotten used to hitting 20 shots with that. But
I'd agree. Visually, it didn't look quite as in the slot, consistent. The other one didn't really look like you could miss it unless you did something pretty drastic.
Yeah.
Okay, at which point then, if we're sold on that one, let's go slightly different price point. So that was more expensive. This one that actually would sit below it technically. Whereabouts are you from originally, Jason?
Southern California.
Okay.
Yeah, been over here since 2006.
Right.
Fair amount of time now.
Did you play golf over in the States as well?
I played when I was really young. My dad, like, a bit lucky that he got me out and had some lessons and things like that, and then sort of picked it all up off and on throughout life. But over the last sort of 2 years, T-box, like monthly lessons with Ollie, definitely makes a difference.
Yeah.
The telling one is that last one. Is that the first one was actually still 78, 79 miles an hour. That one was a little bit.
Have you played any of the big tracks out there in California?
No, almost none in the States actually. I'm getting around the ones in the UK.
Yeah.
Decently. So
I know you mentioned the Berkshire there. And,
yeah, Sunningdale.
Yeah.
Swinley, St. George's Hill. Been down there, played the ones on the coast there, Royal St. George's and stuff. Not that many in Scotland yet, unfortunately. But.
Yeah. Okay, so this is, again, just a slightly different price point really to where we are with the Diamana. Different manufacturer. This is VA Composites. This is the Slay 65.
Sounded weird.
Bit of a crack on it, wasn't it? Wasn't bad. A little bit low on the face, but that was it.
I don't know. Yeah, I was just fresher. I quite like the other one there.
Okay.
I'll do one more with this.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you're going to convince me to change.
Nope. It's good.
Yeah.
It's just not as good.
Yeah, I like the other one.
Yeah.
Again, it just just sort of the combo worked really well. So.
Correct. I agree. Okay, so at which point, let me try a couple of different heads.
Sure. Yep.
Try and get them set up in a similar sort of way to where the ping was, and then we can just compare for like, give everybody a fair chance to win the day. Had you looked at any drivers before you came in? Did you have any sort of...
No, I was going to be pretty open about it.
Yeah, great. Yeah, perfect.
I like the Mizuno irons. I'm kind of sold on those, and I probably pushed a little bit on that when I was in here before, because that's what I had before, but for the driver, fairly indifferent.
Yeah, okay. So out of the ping heads, are we saying we're pretty much going down the max route, do you think?
Yep.
Okay, good. All right.
I would, yep. What is this one?
Callaway Paradym.
Probably, I mean, I'll swing that. I'm not sure I'd go stealth again.
Yeah, okay.
I'll swing it.
Yeah, let's just see how you are.
Our dishwasher stopped working yesterday. We had cleaners.
Sorry?
Our dishwasher stopped working yesterday.
Okay.
And honestly, I had like the skirting board off, like cabinets open. I was like, where's this power supply coming from?
Yeah.
And today they were like, oh, it's just turned off at the wall. I'm like, sweet.
It's
2 hours of my life
default to the
gone.
professionals for that sort of stuff.
I know, well, that's what I had, but this will, save me the embarrassment of a professional coming in and flipping a switch.
Yeah, yeah. Just 2 seconds, Diamana TB. This swing's a little bit heavier than where we were with the ping. Good to go. I've just got this in the neutral setting again. So 10.5 set at 10.5.
A little off the hill.
Yeah.
Ball speed's all right.
Yeah. I mean, they're all pretty good across the face now for that. That should be a little bit better. Yep.
Same.
Yeah. Nice though. 254, 285 total. Very nice.
Trying to swing at that one.
Slightly heely, but I tell you what, it's not bad. And you've jumped up in terms of your carry number there.
Right, one more. That was bad. That'll be an interesting one to see. I felt way off.
High on the face.
It's not bad, is it?
Done pretty good.
Straight.
Done pretty good. Thoughts on that?
It's good. I think only because I would want something different.
Okay.
So that would be my only.
Yeah.
I like the look of it and everything. It's quite classic. And
Yeah. It's not a bad performer if I throw them up
it's
against
probably
each other.
pretty close. I feel like all the numbers were pretty close.
So the white was yours, so let me just get that out of the way because we know what yours does. So then we've got the yellow was the LS Tech version, the lower spin version.
Yep.
A little bit more left,
Yep.
pretty good though. Then you've got the blue, so there's that one
One
lefty there.
Yep.
But if I take him out, then the other 4 shots that you hit with
Pretty
the max
consistent.
head
Yep.
was very nice. And then the darker blue actually was the stealth there that you hit as well. One slightly out to the right, which is a Healy strike, but the rest of them were pretty solid. Much of a muchness. I mean, we're sort of, first of all, we're up sort of definitely in that 250 carry area.
Yep.
What was quite interesting is actually you can see that the
What were
slightly
those again?
lower. This is
That was the first one
This
you
is
did?
the LS Tech,
Yeah,
so you
okay,
can see
so
that
a little less.
because of the lower spin, it had a bit more of a tendency to duck out the air.
So either of those are.
Yeah. So let me get rid of the
Same.
LS Tech. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Numbers wise, between them, a fraction more just based on the. I mean, if you hit enough, I think you'd find they'd be very, very similar. But yeah, pretty good where they are right now. Okay.
So what's the fastest club head speed you've seen in here?
In here,
Like 120?
probably by our very own, one of our club fitters,
All right.
Matt Hyatt. If you've seen any of the stuff that he does online, I don't know what the quickest is, Jim. What's the quickest Matt swung it on sort of film during a live? Yeah, 130's odds. Yeah, he went for over 200 mile an hour ball speed, but he actually looks pretty controlled doing it.
That's amazing.
It's kind of mad. but then the guys did a bit of a live challenge the other night where they were using a long drive, so 48 inches. Actually has a measured 2 degrees loft on it, and they were just trying to shift it out there as far as they possibly could. And Matt can carry it sort of in the 360s when he gets hold of it. But he was then talking about the long drive guys, because apparently it's long drive week this week. And they're in the regions of like 400 yards, so they're actually looking closer to sort of 240s, 250s ball speed now. So he's over 200 miles an hour, and he's 50 miles an hour behind them. It's just freakish, So, and they are using longer drivers, etc. But it's still so impressive.
Crazy.
But it was, obviously Bryson got to a stage where he was sort of 190 ball speed himself on tour, which is impressive to go out and play on tour with. But those guys are just a different league again, So, it's you don't want to watch him. You don't want to watch him for too long hitting balls, because it makes you feel a little bit like inadequate or the rest of it. But obviously, he's still got to get in the hole. So
still, there's lots of ways to do that.
Absolutely. But the long drive stuff is definitely a skill. It's using those long drivers, finding the middle of the face, finding the grid. Takes some doing. You know.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing they can swing that quickly and still get it to go.
Pretty straight.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you've only got to hit one in the grid, though, at 400 yards to be the longest guy in the world, right? And win the check. So they're almost kind of gambling at the same time. They just know, I've only got to get that one in.
Just the one,
Okay, this is the Callaway Paradym. I've just gone into the standard Paradym head here. They do a triple diamond as well, which is the equivalent of the LS Tech, so low spin. I don't think that would be relevant for you, to be honest with you. So I've gone into the stock Paradym head. I think it'd be quite a nice fit for you.
What are you just adding weight on all of them?
Yeah, just a little bit of lead tape just to get to my desired swing weight, but we'd be able to do that internally through the final build, basically. I'm not adding much, a couple of grams at max, so. Okay. So this is Paradym. Set at 10.5, and then swinging at D3.5. Good to go.
Oh, that was loose. That was a swing. Getting tired. Right, ignore that one.
Slightly high contact.
Slightly,
Yeah, slightly toe side, would you say, as well?
A little bit, yeah. That was the swing I would use. That was like a course swing.
Okay.
More. It definitely comes off a little bit differently. Like I say,
So it hasn't quite got as much carbon fibre as the TaylorMade does, because obviously the face of the Stealth now is carbon fibre, but crown and sole of this is heavily carbon fibre. Looks like a nice line, but it's not quite getting the ball speeds. Interesting, and it's definitely a little bit more left.
Yeah, I mean, getting a little bit tired. I don't love that one though.
Nope. Thank you. Well, that's the beauty of coming in and hitting them all right. And it's also the beauty of having a nice setup quite early on that you can really sort of then use as a benchmark.
That's good.
Yeah, different visuals to that Epic series,
I've never loved the Callaways throughout the thing. I'll try the Titleist and then we'll see how we go. Just swing something different for a second.
Yeah. Okay, that is the Titleist TSR2.
Cool.
Very classic pear-shaped design.
Yep.
Typically Titleist, really, in terms of if you look at their drivers over the years. Sits very neutral.
Yeah.
They've got various different models. The TSR3 is more lower spin again,
Yep.
more akin to the LS Tech. This is more sort of Max, Paradym, Stealth. Just 2 seconds, put this one in for you. Okay.
Like that one. Don't know how it looked, but it felt better coming off. Sort of thereabouts. Probably helped that I hit it in the middle.
Slightly heely, hence the spin number, but actually good retention of ball speed.
A bit higher on the face, maybe. I'll have to swing the ping at the end now that I'm getting tired. Make sure I'm not unfairly judged it based on the first.
No, totally agree.
Quite, I mean, this one's good as well, like no doubt.
This would have been, so if you'd have stopped me after the first 5 minutes and said, what do you think are going to be the two heads that work for Jason? This probably would have been in there with the ping,
it's quite
to be
nice.
honest with you. Yeah.
See how much that moved. Yeah.
Not bad based on the numbers there, in terms of the contact down where you are in terms of
Quite,
speed.
Unlike those last few, I feel confident sort of swinging at it and like don't feel like I'm going to get wild shots or.
Yeah.
I mean,
that moves nice on that particular shaft for you.
Yeah. Swing one more.
It's just whether you've got any preference between the two, really. There.
I know. I'll swing the other one just after having done them all, and then. Felt all right as well.
Not bad performer off that strike again. Has been a really good head for us this year, that one as well.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah.
See why.
Very neutral, right? In terms of just the way it sits, looks, nothing too funky going on there. Mainly titanium in its construction, very classical in design. But let me put the ping together for you. Okie dokie.
All right.
Okay, back to the ping.
Back to the start.
Slightly tugged, but not bad. Again, it's just a straight.
Did feel good.
It's a straight machine.
It is a straight machine.
Yeah.
I mean, even that one, like, it does. It'll probably be this one. I quite like it. It looks a little different as well, which is fun. All right, let's see if we can turn one up here.
That looked a bit quicker.
Trying to. 105. It was all right. All right.
I think
this is a good one.
That's the beauty, isn't it?
It's a nice one.
That's pretty good, Jason.
Yeah. No,
we've hit a couple of. We've moved the strike around the face a little bit, and I mean,
still going. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet, sweet.
Take these guys out of play. I think the Titleist would.
The Titleist would be the other one that was close. Yeah.
But it still pips it for ball speed. The retention of ball speed on the ping.
Which one? Just go back up those. The top one's the ping?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Just a little bit quicker.
So
I know you moved that last one a bit quicker there, club head speed, so it's not exactly like for like, but.
Cool.
I had it in D3.5. Let me just change that tag over. Use a slightly wrong tag there, so let me just tag it back in again. So. So, I mean, there's the two dispersions.
yeah,
Titleist versus Ping,
Yeah.
but
Cool.
for me, I just think also just the stability of the Ping as well for yourself. You've hit a little bit heel, you hit that high toe, which just went dead straight as well. I mean, it's just, the Titleist runs it close, and that would have been my second suggestion for you. My only criticism of the Stealth and the Paradym was whether they were going to be too low spin again.
Yeah.
But you didn't quite get on with the Paradym. It didn't swing quite as well on that shaft for you.
Yeah.
And the Stealth was good, but it was a little bit more variable comparatively. Those two are pretty close together, but yeah, I think that's in a pretty nice spot for you, I think. And there's the 250 carry.
There we go.
We promised you.
Ready.
I should have said promise. That would have been more impressive.
I know,
I couldn't
like,
promise
I
at the
can get
time, but that's actually, I'm really happy with that.
No, it's good.
Last question for me.
Yeah.
Grip size, grip type. What size glove do you wear?
Whatever this is, it might be extra large.
Extra large, okay. So, I mean, typically I'd expect a slightly larger wrap size for you underneath the actual grip.
Is this standard?
That's just one layer of tape, yeah. So if you just show that left-hand grip for me, if you just, so it probably looks maybe just a fraction on the low, on the small side for you. Obviously, you've used one wrap throughout.
Throughout, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have one that's slightly?
Yeah, I can show you the difference. So I don't think we need to go into mid-size per se, because that might be a bit of a jump if you're not used to playing that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go too much off this.
No.
I was happy with
So
how
that's
it's in
3 layers. So that's a couple of additional layers underneath there. It's subtle.
Yeah.
And that's 4. So that's another layer again. These are all below mid-size. If I wanted to meet your middle ground, I'd probably be looking at the one that you got in your hand there, which is 3 layers. Which
just
is
to
subtle.
avoid the slight wrap and
Just slightly relaxed
does
in
it
that
take
top
the
end.
hands a little bit out of it?
Not
or?
even that, it's just to get them more relaxed onto the grip. If something's a bit smaller, you might have, tendency might be to just apply a bit too much pressure to keep hold of it. As I say, if we go too big, it can be the opposite issue. So
and like I wouldn't want to go much off what I was swinging. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I mean, this feels good though, because I just don't quite get that bit.
Yeah.
Which I think would be all right.
And it's subtle.
Yeah. It just keeps those from touching.
Correct.
So, yeah, all right, let's go that. Let's do
3
that
layers.
one.
And in terms of grip type, I mean, obviously we've used the 12 Velvet 360 there. It's ties in. You've got multi-compound on your irons.
Yeah.
What would be your preference? Again, we can work around this in terms of getting the club to the desired swing weight.
Yeah. Do I care? Something that's not going to be super slippery in the mist of the UK. I don't know if one of those matters.
We can have a little look.
Yeah.
We've got the grip wall. So multi-compound, which you're obviously familiar with, get the different colours in there as well.
Yeah.
Then lambkin options, we've got that one there, which is called the Sonar Plus. Actually tapers a little less in the bottom hand as well, this one. But
is there any reason not to just go with what I have in my irons?
I would typically always like to go with the same grip throughout the setup, to be completely honest with you.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes you do get the odd even tour player who plays maybe something different in the wedges or potentially driver, but unless you would have any reason to not put a multi-compound
I mean, these have been great. Yeah.
Obviously, that's a nice hybrid grip. It's got cord in the top hand, which is that little bit of security if you
let's just go the same.
Yeah. In terms of colour,
if you have the same, but
or if you want to change it up to matching with what we've got here, we could do the blue if you wanted.
All right, go blue, so I know it's a driver.
Or black.
Not black.
Black, yeah.
No, not black.
Not
go
black. Blue. Okay. Yeah, cool. I'm happy with that.
So adventurous.
All right. Cool. Perfect.
Is that it?
Yeah. Good to go.
All right.
Perfect. Thanks for coming back in again.
Yeah. Awesome.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Pleasure.